So when you are measuring a wavelength, the wavelength is a horizontal distance between the two fixed points. So horizontal distance, like from one crest to another crest, that horizontal is one wavelength. Then from crest to the trough point, that's half wavelength. So that's why the total is 1.5 wavelengths. Question 19. The unit of wavelength or length of the wave. Yeah, the unit of wavelength is, this is the unit of frequency. Wavelength meter per second is the speed, and second is for time interval. What is meant by the frequency? Frequency means number of vibration in 1 second. As you can see in this question, calculate the frequency of a sound of 6,800 hertz and speed is 340. Sorry, calculate the wavelength of a sound for a frequency 6,800 hertz and the speed is 340. So how to calculate as a speed, frequency, wavelength? The formula which relate them. So the formula which we use relate speed, frequency, wavelength. Speed is equals to frequency multiplied by wavelength. Speed is given 3 and it is valid for all type of wave. Even it's a longitudinal wave or a transverse wave. This is a universal wave equation. It is valid for any kind of wave. That's 340, 6,800 is the frequency and the wavelength we don't know. 6,800 is multiplied. 6,800 is multiplied. Other side it will divide. So it will be 340 divided by 6,800. What's the answer for the wavelength? 0.05 meters. So the answer here will be 0.05 meter. The next part is related to sound topic. That's why I'm not discussing that. The graph in the figure 6.1 represent a wave on a rope. So there's a wave on a rope, vertical position and a distance of the rope. Use the figure, determine the amplitude. Can you find the amplitude of this wave from the figure? What is the amplitude? Amplitude is actually a distance from mean position to extreme position. So the wave is not actually start. You can see in this question, the wave is not actually starting from origin. So if I draw a horizontal line here, and amplitude is the distance from mean position to extreme. So from 4, what is the distance? This distance? Yeah, 4 to 7.4. That's right, because the box when you check, it is 7.4. So this value is 7.4. So it's the mean position is at 4 and the maximum position is at 7.4. So what is the distance between them? That's 7.4 minus 4, that's equal to 3.4. So 3.4 is the amplitude. Is it clear? How the amplitude is 3.4. Even you can count this height as well. Why not 4? Why I did not take 4? Because the distance from mean position to extreme is not 4. Yeah, 0.2 times 3 point. That's also correct. What is the wavelength? Length of this wave. To measure the wavelength, you should use x-axis. What is the wavelength here? Each box representing 2 on x-axis. What is the wavelength of this wave? So you measure it's this point. Actually, it's like 20, between 22 and 24. It's 23. This one is also between so when you take this distance, 42, 4, 46, 48, 50, 52, 53. So it's about 30 as you subtract the two numbers from each other. Is it clear? How it is 30? The distance between the two successive crests or two successive troughs refers to the wavelength or length of a wave. In the question, a wave traveling on a surface of a water has a wavelength of 2.5 centimeter and speed is 8 centimeter per second. Look, if speed and wavelength are in the same unit, you don't have to convert the unit to get the frequency. You can use the same unit and you will get the answer. So we have the formula: speed is frequency multiplied by wavelength. Speed is 8, frequency we don't know, and the wavelength is 2.5. So 2.5 is multiplied, other side it will divide. So 8 divided by 2.5, we will get the frequency. What's the answer? That's equal to 3.2 hertz. A loudspeaker is built into a side of a swimming pool. The loudspeaker produces a sound wave in the water of wavelength 0.25 and frequency 6 kilohertz. What is the speed of the wave? What is the speed of the wave? You have the wavelength and you have the frequency. It will be 1500, that's correct, because 6 kilo means 6000 hertz. Why it is not directly, look, You have the formula speed is equals to frequency multiplied by wavelength. But if you substitute frequency 6 and wavelength 0.25, you will get a wrong answer because the frequency is 6 kilo. So kilo stands for 6 like 1000. So actually it is 6000 hertz. So unit conversion is always important. So whenever you're solving a question, always check a unit conversion. Sound wave is longitudinal. What is meant by a longitudinal wave? So definition of a longitudinal wave, the wave in which the particle vibrate parallel to the direction of the wave. That's known as longitudinal wave. In this question, an earthquake produces two types of waves, P waves and S waves. The vibration of the P waves are parallel to direction of the travel of the wave. The vibration of S waves are perpendicular to the direction of travel of the wave. Place one tick for each type of wave to indicate whether it is longitudinal or transverse. So you can use screen annotation to complete this table. What could be the right answer? So all kind of electromagnetic waves are transverse. Electromagnetic wave means the wave which can travel through vacuum. That's correct. P waves, as I mentioned, they are parallel, longitudinal. That's correct. S waves, perpendicular, so transverse. Correct. Sound waves, parallel. Correct. And ultrasound is also sound. That's also correct. Figure 7.1, 7.2 shows a wave traveling in the direction. Explain why the wave shown is described as a transverse. So why we call this wave as a transverse? So you have to write a definition because the vibration is vibration of the particle perpendicular to direction of the wave. The speed of the wave is 3.2. Calculate the frequency. You will use this figure to calculate frequency. What is the frequency here? To calculate the frequency speed divided by wavelength. What is the speed? That is 3.2. But what about wavelength? What is the wavelength of this wave? Yeah, that's right, 1.2. Because look, this is trough, trough, trough. Distance between the two troughs is called a wavelength. If this total is 2.4, so half will be 1.2. So this will be 3.2 divided by 1.2, which is equals to 1. 3.2 is the speed, and wavelength is 1.2. So the answer for the frequency is 2.67. If a recurring decimal, use three significant figure. So 2.67 hertz. Always write your answer in three significant figures. This question can only be done when you have a print, but I will help you out to just mention how you will do this. They mention 1 centimeter represent 4 centimeter. Like scale of 1 centimeter is represented 4 centimeter. So take the measurement from the scale diagram, like this scale diagram, and determine the wavelength. So how we'll determine the wavelength? So what we will do? Uh, okay, wavefront part is there. That is the next topic. So we'll discuss this wavefront next class, and then we'll do discussion. So today we discuss the types of the wave and characteristic of a longitudinal and transverse wave. Any doubt related to the class? Next week, there will be a test of thermal physics MCQs. I will let you know the day. Thermal physics MCQs, there will be a test. Next week, I will let you know the date and the day when I'll conduct this test. MCQs only of thermal physics. So I'll end the session now and share the recording with you.